Sutro is a robotic device that remotely measures water chemistry in your swimming pool or spa. I like to call it a floating laboratory because we literally take the exact same chemicals that you have in your test kit. We literally use Taylor and Lamont, but we just run micro titrations and analyze the color the exact same way that we would. We measure pH, free chlorine, alkalinity, bromine, and also temperature. I was watching the last 3 videos that I did from 2020 to 2023, and man, it has been a crazy few years. We launched right in the midst of COVID. We had to change our entire business plan, but our vision hasn't changed. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Firstly, the theme for 2023 was stability and robustness. With all of the growth that we had in 2022, it was time for us to go back to the basics. The manufacturing team did amazing work around managing the freshness in your cartridges. We aim to have less than a 1 to 1.5 month of reagent shelf life. Better than a lot of your test kits that you have sitting around in the yard for upwards of a year. I know for my house when I used to own a pool. We want to get these cartridges as fresh as possible to your doorstep. And for that, we had to build out a ton of QA and QC, quality assurance and quality control processes to make sure that we were monitoring and measuring each lot of reagents we get, filling them at the exact right time, and storing them at the right temperatures. I do want to jump back into something that I spoke about in 2020 that we'll be incorporating in full force in 2024, and that is the Spin Doctor product. We envision this to be a base for pool stores and pool routes utilizing the Lamont Spin Touch. However, we'll be bringing this back, but a bit more in a digital flavor. We've done away with the hardware component, and very soon in your app, you will be able to see and have the ability to add a pool store and see your pool store data right alongside your Sutro data. We'll be rolling this out alongside a slew of pool stores across the US and in Canada in the coming months. I also did a series of Sutro member spotlights, and I want to share a few clips with you right here.
I initially started with the old test strips, doing them every day and trying to balance chemicals on a daily basis. And over time, I found out that was not a real relevant means of monitoring the pool. And then I came across the Sutro online and I read some of the reviews. It was still, I think I signed into the beta testers group, but I wasn't one of the initial beta testers. So I signed on to that, and I was quite impressed, really. I think, as you had mentioned, or others had mentioned early on, there were some accuracy issues and some learning experience, knowing that, some of the tests don't run every 3 times a day. Some of them just run overnight. So you don't expect to see some of them changing when you test the next morning.
And that, I think, is really the magic behind it, is that I don't have to think about it. I don't have to babysit it and monitor it and make sure it's doing its thing. It's updating my phone consistently, allowing me to keep an eye on it, where if I need to have some action, it'll tell me. If things are good, it'll tell me. So it just takes that, like I talked about earlier, that burden, that administrative burden of having to just keep an eye on things in that regard, just removes that.
2 really cool things on the product that are coming down the line. We'll have an integrated solution coming out as well, in terms of the Sutro being integrated in different products. I really can't spill too many details on that, but it is coming down the line. One thing I do need all of your help with is to convince our investors to build out an inline unit. It's been one of the most requested products that we've seen. So if you want to email hello@mysutro.com with the subject swimming pool inline, we'll start counting your votes. We will also be incorporating a bit more AI into our chemistry modeling, so we can get more accurate readings to your phone. Our vision has always been to build the best-in-class sensor on the market, because let's just face it, as easy as ORP is to build and deploy in a product, it just doesn't work. In closing, I want to say thank you to every single one of you who owns a Sutro, and for the folks who will be part of the Sutro family soon. And more importantly, I want to shout out to the entire Sutro team that makes sure that all of you have a seamless experience from your device to the firmware, all the way to the backend and the app. I want to make sure to say that we are also a startup. And we're always listening, learning, and growing. So if you have any feedback, any comments, or any suggestions, just write it. It's what makes us stronger and bigger. With that, I want to say it's been a great 2023, and we're looking forward to seeing you in 2024. Cheers, and Happy New Year.